Did you know the brown pelican is the smallest of all pelican species, yet still has a wingspan wider than most people are tall? With its striking brown and white plumage, oversized bill, and famous throat pouch, this coastal bird is one of the most iconic sights from along American shorelines. Let's explore the fascinating world of the brown pelican. As an adult, this pelican measures around 1 to 1.3 meters in length. The wingspan stretches up to 2.5 meters, that's more than 8 feet across. Despite their bulk, they weigh only 3 to 5 kilograms, light for their wingspan, which makes them masters of gliding just above the waves. Their most iconic feature is the bill. It is long and straight, reaching nearly 30 centimeters in length and tipped with a sharp hook. Beneath it hangs the remarkable gular pouch, an expandable scoop that can hold multiple liters of water and fish. As they grow into juveniles, their plumage shifts into dull, brownish-grey across the body with lighter underparts. The bill remains a muted grey and the eyes dark brown. At this stage, they lack the sharp contrasts and colours that make adults so distinctive. By time they reach adulthood, the transformation is clear. In non-breeding plumage, the head and neck are pale yellowish or whitish, while the body is dark brown with silvery grey highlights across the upper wings. But during the breeding season, the brown pelican becomes truly dramatic. The head turns a brilliant white, contrasting sharply with a rich chestnut brown hind neck. These seasonal colours fade once the breeding season ends, returning the bird to its quieter palette. The brown pelican is distributed along both the Atlantic and Pacific coasts of the Americas. Its distribution is almost entirely coastal, since it relies on nearshore waters for feeding. The species ranges from the coast of the southern United States, particularly along Florida, the Carolinas, and the Gulf states, then down through the Caribbean islands, Central America, and into northern and eastern South America as far south as Brazil. Along the Pacific coast, brown pelicans are found from California southward through Mexico, Central America, and along the western coast of South America to northern Chile. A more isolated year-round population is also found on the island chain known as the Galapagos Islands in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Ecuador. The brown pelican is a bird of the sea's edge. Unlike its inland relatives, it lives almost its entire life within sight of saltwater. You'll find it along warm coastlines of the Americas where the ocean meets sandy beaches, tidal estuaries, and rocky shores. It prefers shallow, nearshore waters, places where fish gather in schools and where pelicans plunge diving can be most effective. For resting and roosting, brown pelicans favor quiet coastal perches. These might be sandbars, jetties, mangroves, docks, or even anchored boats. When it comes to nesting, they seek secluded coastal islands. Low-lying mangrove islets, sandy spits, and barrier islands all serve as breeding sites. The key is isolation, safe places away from land predators and human interference. The brown pelican may look like a single species from coast to coast, but in fact scientists recognize 5 subspecies, each tied to a different part of the Americas. While all share the same unmistakable shape and feeding style, subtle differences in size, plumage, and distribution set them apart. The first is Pelecanus occidentalis, found in the Caribbean and along the Atlantic coast of South America from Venezuela to Brazil. This is the nominate form, the one that gave the species its scientific name. Then there is Pelecanus occidentalis murphyi, found along the Pacific shores of Ecuador and northern Peru. Along the Atlantic and Gulf coasts of the United States, the local form is Pelecanus occidentalis carolinensis. This subspecies is slightly larger than its Caribbean relatives and is the one most familiar to people in Florida, the Carolinas, and the Gulf states. On the opposite shore, stretching along the Pacific coast of North America, is Pelecanus occidentalis californicus. This is the largest of all brown pelican subspecies, with an impressively long bill and wingspan. Finally, far out in the Pacific, the Galapagos Islands are home to Pelecanus occidentalis urinator. These island birds are smaller and more compact than their mainland cousins, perfectly suited for life on the volcanic shores of the archipelago. The brown pelican is a specialist fisher. Its entire diet revolves around the sea. Their main prey is small to medium-sized schooling fish. Anchovies, menhaden, sardines, mullet, and herring are all favourites. These fish rarely grow longer than 15 centimeters, perfect for a pelican to catch and swallow whole. While fish dominate the diet, brown pelicans will also take occasional crustaceans such as shrimp, especially in areas where they are plentiful. This diet of oily, energy-rich fish fuels their long flights, powers their dramatic dives, and sustains them through breeding season. In addition, like many coastal birds, they are opportunists. While not scavengers by nature, they have adapted to human presence, sometimes resting on docks, pilings, and fishing boats. In harbours, they may even linger near fishermen, hoping for discarded bycatch. Preening is essential for these birds. With feathers that must remain waterproof for plunge diving, pelicans spend long periods running their bills through their plumage, spreading oil from a gland near their tail. This ritual keeps their feathers sleek, buoyant, and resistant to salt water. Bathing is another daily ritual. Pelicans often dip and splash in shallow water, then rise to flap their wings vigorously, shaking off excess water before returning to roost. Breeding in this species usually begins in spring or early summer, though the exact timing depends on location. In tropical regions, nesting may occur year-round, while in more temperate zones, colonies form only when the waters are warm and the fish are plentiful. Courtship takes place in large, noisy colonies on isolated coastal islands which are safe from predators and disturbance. Males arrive first, choosing a nest site among mangroves, sandspits, or low shrubs. Females move between territories, inspecting potential mates. When a pair bond forms, the two engage in ritual displays that include gentle bowing, mutual preening, and synchronized movements that cement their partnership. Together, the pair builds a nest, though the male does most of the material gathering. He brings sticks, reeds, or seaweed, which the female arranges into a loose platform. The female lays a clutch of 2 to 3 chalky white eggs. They are also graceful flyers. In the air, pelicans often form V-shaped or single-line formations, gliding just above the water's surface in a behaviour known as ground effect flight. On the ground, however, they can seem almost clumsy. Walking on their short legs is awkward, and taking off from the water requires a dramatic patter of webbed feet and powerful wing beats before they lift clear. If you've enjoyed learning about this remarkable bird, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the natural world. And if you want to support this series, leave a comment below. What is your favourite seabird species?